What is up, Tiare Jennings, softball legend? I'm so honored to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to talk softball and just all your accomplishments and some of the really awesome teams that you've been on that just ooze joy when you watch them and you get to see them play their sport. But I ask all my guests what they're all about right now. It could be a food, it could be a life hack, it could be like something new that you're up to. So, what are you all about right now?
Gosh, right now I would say I'm all about training. This is my off season for softball, so I'm 2 weeks in of off season training. So I'm kind of all about that right now, all about lifestyle, getting back into it. I took a long break from pro softball and USA softball in the fall, so right now I would say I'm training, which has been so fun. Just to continue to play pro softball, grow the game. But right now I would say not something new, but something that I haven't done in a little bit. So just training and get back into shape.
What is one of the harder things that you'll do throughout the week when you train?
Right now, it's I'm kind of lifting with the OU team. I'm a softball GA with OU, so I've been in the weight room, not necessarily in their weights, but kind of like on the next rack next to them to kind of get that feel again for just training with a team. A lot of off season about pro softball, you train by yourself, so it's really hard to kind of stay motivated. So right now is in the weight room, 7 a.m. weights, kind of like back into college. You kind of don't miss those days, but it's been fun. It's been hard just to get up. Thank God for waking me up, get in the weight room, move my body. So it's been cool to see them work really hard and they inspire me to get after it and wake up early to get in the weight room.
It's so fun that you're able to train with that team, right? And also, like you said, it's hard to train when you're alone. And so I can
Totally.
imagine their music's going. You got the aura of just your old teammates in a way too. What's been maybe the harder part of just the transition going from player, and obviously you're still playing yourself, but now having that more like servant leadership as a GA?
Totally. I think one of the hardest things I had to learn was I'm not in control anymore. I mean, I never was when I was a player. I mean, I feel like my faith always took the first hand. Like, I can put all the work done for preparation, but when the big moments come, that's when I give it all to Jesus. Like, hey, take the wheel and give me all the passionate and smiles to play. But at the end of the day, the work has been finished. And now training and being a GA and seeing them, it's like, okay, I can't really do much. I'm not in their shoes. I'm not like a part of their team really. So in a way of just like kind of letting it all go. And I'm a spectator, I'm a coach, I'm a GA, I'm serving them, like you said. So I think that was the hardest transition last year was trying to figure out how I can still apply and be a part of their shoes. But again, remember that I'm just here to serve them as best as I could. So I think learning more how to serve them without actually physically telling them how to do it or physically me allowing myself to do it. But I think serving in a great way has been super easy for me now. This year, coming my second year as a GA, I feel like that has just been so much joy and so much pressure lifted off of me. It's like, okay, I know how to serve them. I know what they need and just how can I be better for them? So I think that was the hardest part was just learning how to give it all up control wise and just letting them do their thing.
So cool for them that you get to be a part of the team. My freshman year had a former player who was like just iconic, like led the team to multiple championship games. Her jersey should be retired, all those things. And it was so cool for me being a young girl on that team to like have this player who I looked up to for so many years coaching me. And you're still young, right? So you can have a little bit of a different banter. So I bet it's the same for your teammates. Just so awesome. And I know it's early and their season hasn't kicked off yet, but what's something about this year's Oklahoma team that you can tell us?
Gosh, they are just so much fun. They play with so much passion, with so much joy that you can't tell when they're in the hard moments because they stay together as a group, and it's just so inspiring to see. I mean, you think of just college sports in general, like, oh, what a drag it could be, just very monotonous, like every day doing the same thing. But with this team, they just bring so much light, so much joy, so much freeness of the game that sometimes I forget when I'm playing and I can just look back at this team and just see all of that on their faces has been super inspiring to watch. So I wouldn't even say it has anything to do with their physical skills. It's just how they interact with each other, how they interact with me with just so much respect, so much hard work. And I'm just super inspired by the way they play the game. And I try to take that with me when I'm playing.
I'm so excited to watch that team and see them too for the people that they are, not just the athletes, right? I think it's so fun. I think in times of like celebration from for fans, that's when you can really see some personalities come out. But we'll definitely be cheering on the Oklahoma team this season. And I would love to just ask you because we're gonna get into your pro softball career and Team USA and your time at Oklahoma. But when did you first get really serious about, hey, I want to pursue softball in college?
I've been playing softball since I was 4, so it's been a long time. I've played soccer, I've played volleyball, I've played basketball, all the sports growing up. But I feel like when I was in the 6th grade, I really was like, okay, I can do this for real. And I was surrounded by such a great travel ball organization back in California, who literally pushed me to my best, to made me to one of the softball players I am now. So I'm super grateful for playing travel ball, but I was surrounded by good people, good friends. In high school, it was hard to have a lot of friends because I was gone every weekend playing, traveling the country with my softball friends. So it's like I had to give up a lot of my teenage years and all the birthday parties and not and all those things. But to be the best of the best, you have to sacrifice, and that kind of was it for me. But I think 6th grade was where I was like, okay, I really, really want to play D1 softball, and I had couple cousins that really inspired me to want to be like them. So I grew up going to their games and all of that. So a huge shout out to them for even inspiring me to want to play college softball. So yeah.
Love that, and I can totally relate to the sacrifice that you talked about, even just thinking back to, like, my high school days and what I was doing on the weekends, like, it was my club sport, what I was playing
Right.
outside of, like, this varsity sport or whatever was going on in my high school, and it is a sacrifice, but certain you have to do things in order to reach your dream and your goals, and I'm sure that those softball relationships are so strong just from spending the whole weekend together, multiple weeks in a row. So that is incredible and just obviously transformational too, allowing you to get to where you are right now. But when you think back to maybe those middle school and high school days, do you have a favorite softball memory that just sticks out to you?
I would say there's like a national championship played every year in the summer for travel softball, and it's called PGF. That was when I played in it. Now it's called Alliance that they go play in. But I played for the Orange County Batbusters, and those friendships I've made since I was probably again like 5th or 6th grade, and still to my like best friends to this day. Still some of the people I played at OU with. So um, every summer playing in a national championship, I think those are the best memories. You learn how to win, you learn how to lose, you learn how to play 6 games in a row. Like all the hard work and grit that I learned or that I've managed in college, it started because of travel ball and in middle school days and those high school days. So I really, the Batbusters gave me everything, gave me those friendships. And I just think every summer with them was a highlight because you're on the road 3 weeks, going and playing in Colorado and Kansas City and all these random places. You're like, why am I going there in the summer when it's 100 degrees outside? But you do it because your goal is to get to the college level and to compete and to win. And I did all those things because I was part of the Batbusters and a part of those great friendships and memories during the summer playing.
Man, so you've been in the natty champ situation for a long time, dating back years ago, and something that's probably a little bit more relatable for just all softball players is the food that you're eating when you're on the road and you're at those travel tournaments. So when you think back to middle school and high school, when you're in those flyover states, literally, what's like the one restaurant that you remember being like, okay, one game we're at this place, second game we're it's our lunch, it's our dinner, it's our afternoon snack. Like, what's the place for you?
For me, it was in California, and we're at the ball field for like 8 hours a day, and they had the taco trucks, the little taco carts, and I would
Nice.
get carne asada tacos and a little fruit bowl. So that for me, I think we didn't really eat out much during travel ball season just because we're at the field all day. So I've had a couple of Subway sandwiches in there that I loved, but it was always like the which place had the best like snack bar, the snack shack, like for me. So it was always the teriyaki chicken bowls, and I always knew about the taco carts, so I always looked for those when I was playing.
That's so good. I for me, it was Tropical Smoothie Cafe,
Okay, yeah, that's
and,
my
like,
college
'cause
place. Yes.
yes, they're so good, and the best part is that, like, you have no option to get a small smoothie, like, they're all the
No,
same size.
totally.
So,
Yes.
I drove by one of those the other day, and I kinda had a flashback, and it was like, "Oh, I
Seriously.
need that." It was like, "I need that." I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't need
I
that. I need
guess
to,
for
like,
me
retrain my brain."
too, the one restaurant would be Panera Bread, and
Okay.
We would go to Panera all the time, so now I drive by it and I have, like, nostalgia from those high school days.
That's awesome. I'd love to talk about just pro softball now because you were one of 15 players that was selected to play coming out of school in this pro league. And so, what has that just been like playing in a different league than college?
It's been so fun. It's been so fun to see the growth of softball. I think my favorite part, again, it's not even about the physical part of the game, but of course, you're surrounded by the best softball players in the country. But I think just seeing the growth of the game, you see the little girls in the stands and how much they're cheering for the Volts and for the Bandits and all the teams in AU. And that for me is the most rewarding part because I would die to go to a college game or a professional game as a little girl and be like, wow, like now they have dreams that beyond just college softball. Before I didn't really know that was a thing. So now being that can be a dream for little girls has been a dream come true to even be a part of. So I'm super thankful for that. But it was a grind. We didn't have home bases, so we were traveling every single week to a new place. So we got to hang out with a bunch of different cool people, eat a lot of different foods, hang out with a bunch of good softball players. So overall, it was so much fun. I'm super excited to see the growth of AUSL and where it can go. So yeah, the little girls definitely make it worth it in the stands.
I've also been so impressed by like the marketing, the social media, the jerseys, like the colors are just cool. Like all the colors
Really.
are very non-traditional like sports team colors and they're bright and I've loved the way that the league has been promoted. And so maybe for people who don't know that much about the AUSL, what's something that maybe they don't know about the league? And obviously you said like yeah, we don't have a home base, we're traveling to different locations all the time. What's something that maybe they don't know that they should know about this league?
I think one thing about this league is that it's so diverse and there's always room for improvement. So we are now expanding some for two new teams. We are going to home bases. So it's super cool that AUSL is growing within the 1 year that we already had the league. So it just keeps improving. It keeps changing. And it could be a little scary in my shoes just because there's so much unknown. But with AUSL, I just know it's going to be in good hands. And I know that the teams they're trying to bring in is all for the growth of softball. So there's just so many opportunities with AUSL where it can lead to, but just the expansion of AUSL that I don't think a lot of people know about, how fast and how quick, because so many opportunities of college girls now are going to want to keep playing. So as long as you keep having good college players, the league is going to keep growing and growing. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. So it's super cool to see the expansion of AUSL and where it's going. And just think a lot of people don't really know about that. And they think it's four teams, but like, no, we want to bump those teams up to where we can get 8 to 10 teams, home bases, like all the things that you see that MLB has that AUSL can get to.
It's so exciting because, like you said, it'll give more college players who want to keep competing an opportunity to keep playing. Like, it's awesome. And you can only do that with more teams, right? Because it's so competitive. So, just so exciting. And I can't wait to continue to cheer that league on and you specifically on. But we do have to talk about the national team because you're coming off a big gold medal at the World Games and you're also named MVP. So, congratulations. It's
Thank
pretty insane.
you.
So, what was most special just about that?
I think for me is we just went through a coaching change with USA Softball. So of course, no one better else than Coach Gasso being named head coach of that. So having USA across my chest, Coach Gasso in third base box, some of my old teammates back next to me, and then seeing the new players who never got to play with Coach Gasso and seeing how they interact and how much they loved her and how much the team got together within 10 days and winning a gold medal just shows the culture of Coach Gasso and everything she stands for. So that was super cool. And then again, just traveling the world. I mean, I never thought I would go to China and to be in China winning a gold medal with USA was a dream come true. But I think just having those nostalgic moments again with Coach Gasso, with Jada Coleman, all my OU girls, was super fun, super special. But again, the growth of USA softball is nowhere near reaching the end and it's just expanding. So to see everyone have an opportunity to play for coach and to support each other and to get better as a country and hopefully to keep continue winning. But it was so much fun.
You mentioned just coming together in 10 days, and I can imagine that that group is extremely close, even when maybe you aren't together for year-long seasons like you would in college. So, does the national team have any traditions, games, or just things that you always do together, whether you're preparing for a tournament or just in a training session?
One thing about USA softball is it's kind of random tournaments, random places, and random. So everything about it is not really scheduled or organized at all, which is the coolest part because we have so many great players in our entire country that we can come together at any point and we will make a really good team. So there's about
You
maybe
hear that, other nations? We're coming for you,
literally
and we
there's
don't
a
need that much organization.
seriously, there's about like 60 girls in the USA player pool itself that I feel like if we took 3 to 4 teams, each team would continue to win and compete at the highest level. So that's super cool. And one thing about USA softball is when we get together for training camps is how cohesive it is. I really feel that everyone is pushing each other to their best, whether they're going to be on the team or not. You know that you are part of the training sessions and you're a part of making each other better during the off season, inspiring each other to be better as a country, as one unit. So there's not really a lot of like whole jealousy or just things that you think that would be in an organization. I feel like USA has been super, super great about that. Is we're all on one team, we're all one country fighting for the same goal, whether it's 10 players, 12 players, 60 players, that I really feel that cohesive unit as one. And that's been super, super cool and really fun to be a part of.
Well, shoot, if you're a USA fan, anyone in this country, you better be fired up right now. Let's go. That's so awesome. And I have to ask you because the LA Olympics are 3 years away. Do you have any hopes of competing on our own home turf here?
Totally. I mean, like I said, if I'm on the team or not, I'm going to be at the Olympic stage, either watching or being on that team. There's one way or another I'm going to be there. So it's super cool. Obviously, would have loved to have it in LA. I'm from LA, so I was a homegirl, homeborn, California raised. But softball is actually going to be played in Oklahoma City, which is also my second home. So I
Hey,
mean,
you lucked out. You lucked out. That's
it's
the
a
second
win.
great option.
Seriously, a win is a win, and having it in OKC at the softball capital of the world is super amazing. Really cool for Oklahoma City. Again, for Oklahoma, for me personally, it was just like second home. Either way, it was super awesome, and LA 28 OKC is gonna be so fun.
Incredible. And I do want to talk just about OKC and your time at Oklahoma, but it just seems to me, and I've had the opportunity to interview a good amount of softball players in all different aspects of life, that there's an overwhelming sense and presence of like outspoken believers in the softball community and world. And I know that's not obviously representative of everyone, but there's just been so much light that has come from your sport specifically over the last couple years. I know I told this to Riley Boone when I interviewed her last year. When I was a student at Boston College, we were running Athletes in Action there, and we literally showed videos of your team talking about Jesus. Like, it was so cool. We were like, oh my gosh, like, look at this Oklahoma softball team. Look at what they're doing. And it was inspiring us and myself at Boston College, a school totally far away from Oklahoma, but it just, you can see really the ripple effects that some really influential softball players have had. So I'd love to know, what has that community been like in the national team and in the pro softball world with AUSL?
It's been everything. I think for me personally, learning from like all those values of Coach Gasso and my faith and Riley Boone, having all these mentors in my life has just made pro softball and USA softball so easy. I mean, you can get caught up that softball defines you and it can caught up in your emotions. But for me, it's more just softball is just something I do and it's not my identity. And so for me, it's made me feel so much less pressure playing professional softball. Cause again, it's not easy. Hitting a yellow ball, all the college sports that we play is not easy. So for me, it's been so much light and so much joy and just being able to go out there and play the game I love. And then again, spreading that amongst people I come across. So not necessarily if they're not somewhat faith-based, but showing what joy, what light, what all that looks like and where it comes from me personally. So just encountering everyone from different backgrounds, different cultures, and talking about Jesus at the center has been so cool in the pro space because you do find your people. And I found my people in every single space that I've been in because it's just been so easy and it's been so much fun to share that connection of our faith and just kind of keep growing. It's never going to stop growing. And we've been very unapologetic and bold in our faith at OU. And I've never changed once in the pro scene or in USA softball. So just continue to be myself myself, and spreading what I know and what I love and all that where it comes from. And it comes from God, it comes from Jesus. And I'm never gonna let that light shine, let that light go out. And that light is gonna shine with me forever. So knowing that no matter what space I go into, that's always gonna be my identity, and softball is just what I do. So just sharing my testimony with people has been the biggest thing, and showing where my faith comes from. And again, not forcing that upon anyone if they don't want to, but just sharing my light and grabbing as many believers as we can in every space we go to.
I love that you talked about that in just like the different environments too, and not changing who you are, and also how you represent your faith, right? Because there might be some moments when you feel called to say the name of Jesus or really share the gospel in that way. And other times, like the Lord might be just saying, hey, like just be a light, just be joy, be kind, right? And
Yes.
so I love that you said that because different moments call for different things. And I think just staying true to who you are and being that consistently, regardless of when your circumstance in life changes and when the circle of friends that you're around changes and the teammates that you're around changes, like it's so important. But I do want to talk just about all the rings that you got from college because it is absolutely absurd. But I think the most important ring that I have to address is your engagement ring. So congratulations. I know that you are
Yeah.
engaged right now. So how excited are you about that?
Super excited. The only problem we're having is finding a time for a wedding because the only space I have open right now is maybe 2 weeks in December, and the rest of December I'll be in Australia with competing with USA. So it's
Destination wedding, destination wedding.
totally destination, honeymoon, everything I guess is going to be in Australia because don't have a lot of time, but it's been awesome. I mean, just having a partner that you can share life with and share Jesus at the center with, but along with winning things. And it's been great. And I've learned how to like lose in life too. So just knowing how to keep Jesus at the center when you're winning in life and when you're losing at life. And it should never be like the same. I feel like I should be embracing each season of life the same, and knowing that I always have my backbone, which is God and Jesus, and having all the people in my life, my mentors in my life, who will have me for the rest of my life. So it's just a lot being free and enjoying every single moment I'm in, being present in every moment. But it's been so much fun, a lot of craziness, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It's been awesome.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, and you're going to be a beautiful bride whenever and wherever the wedding occurs. But that is so exciting, and I do want to ask you about those other rings, especially too, because you have 4 national championship rings from your time at OU, which is just such a blessing and such a gift, and so fun to look back on. So when you think back to those 4 championships, those 4 natties, which one is your favorite if you had to choose?
Gosh, I think it'd be a tie between the first and last. The first one, just that feeling of never doing it before, just the hard work, all the things that come into it was awesome. And then the fourth one, I think, was the hardest one, hardest year of my life. Just all the things as well, just all the ups and downs. I think we're in the fourth one just because you have all the pressure, you have the media, you have still trying to stay in school, you have training, and then you still have figuring out your identity too in your senior year, like just trying to do all the things and what I'm going to do after, just all the things of senior year. But I think the fourth one just shows how much hard work was put in, and no matter what, all the ups and downs, that my faith was the backbone of all of it. So I think it'd have to be a tie between the first and last for sure.
There you go. It's a little bookend. It works, right?
Totally.
That's
Yes.
good. And I know that you said just the heart of that last year, especially, and you talked about the media and in school, like doing school, right? I think sometimes when athletes get interviewed, they forget, like, oh yeah, this kid is coming off like a 3 hour study hall that they had to go to, or stuff like whatever it is, right? And so it's impressive what you do and succeeding at your sport amidst all of that. So when you think back to just the grind and the maybe harder parts of what you experienced during your time at Oklahoma, people are going to go to your Instagram. They're going to see the championship rings and they're going to see the smiles and the celebrations and all those awesome things and the t-shirt tosses at every game that you're being honored at, right? Like
Like,
on social media and outwardly in person, people probably see a different side of what it really was. What
mhm.
sticks out to you when you think about the heart of winning those championships?
I think of my teammates. I think of how close we are to even win those together and how much it took for us to spend time together. And, it's a group of college women, and you're going to have problems with women sometimes. You don't get along. But with this team, the minute we had something wrong, we talked about it. No matter if we didn't want to or things like that, if we weren't on the same page, we got together. We were women. Coach Gasso taught us how to become not girls and become girls into women and women who are strong in our faith. And we had Bible studies. We had just hard moments together. And I think of my teammates and just how much time we spent, not any part of the physical part of the game, but how much time we spent in the mental part of the game together and how we got through those hard moments together. And how we celebrated together, how we had Bible studies together, how we had dinners together, how we had fellowship together. Like everything that we did was together. And every team that I was on at OU, we found that togetherness, we found that cohesiveness. And I don't think a lot of programs have that. And I wish everyone did, but just how much time that we worked things out together. And again, no matter if we wanted to or not, Coach Gass was like, you guys are going to figure it out. And you guys are sisters. At the end of the day, you guys are going to fight like sisters. You guys are going to play like sisters. You guys are going to love like sisters. And we all knew that we were sisters in Christ and that, again, nothing can break that bond of that. So I just think of my teammates and how they got me through those hard moments.
I love that, and it's hard, right, to have difficult discussions, and I think it's even harder when it's not coach led. So if they are young girls or girls on a college team that, and I love that you said like we're just college girls. I guess yeah,
Right.
college girls. There's like hard things that happen,
Totally.
but I love that you said that, but also just. If even if your coach isn't setting those conversations up, they need to be had. Like if you want to be on the best team, the best program, you need to be able to work through things and not like kick them under the rug. And I know it was probably different. We probably had different experiences, but I remember after some really tough losses, I played at Boston College lacrosse. We would have like 3 hour long plus meetings with either like your entire grade, your entire position group, all the older girls, all just like designated leaders on the team. And I remember after one loss, we lost to our rival UNC, and we were in the away like, the away hotel. We were still there, like, the next morning because it was a late night game, and I remember being in this meeting, just players, like, discussing what happened, what are our next steps, like, literally, we're gonna get on the bus, we're gonna fly to Boston, we get off the bus in Boston at our school, what's the next step? Like, for literally 3 to 4 hours, and I actually I had, like, an awesome sleeping mask at the time. It was, like, weighted, I love it, and I remember leaving it behind because I needed someone else, a younger girl on the team to pack it up for me because we took that much time to go to be in the meeting. And so, yes, those are so difficult conversations, and I remember, like, dreading going into it, but, like, that's, I think, what allowed us to get through those harder moments in the season when it could break. You could be listening to outside noise. So I love that you said that because I think it is so important. But I do wanna touch on a little bit about what you said, just the fellowship of this team, because I know your Oklahoma softball team has also been extremely outspoken about their faith. So, do you mind just describing maybe what your relationship with the Lord and when it really started with your relationship too with the Oklahoma softball team?
Yeah, I'd say I was so blessed my freshman year to have upperclassmen who were faith-based, who took me under their wing, who didn't force me to do anything, was like, hey, come along, we're going to church and we're going to go to breakfast and we're going to do all the things. And I was like, perfect, let's go do it. And I just fell in love with the way their relationship with the Lord. And I had to learn what that relationship looks like for me. And it's different for everyone. And I was so thankful to have those upperclassmen who to teach me not only softball things, but just how, again, it doesn't define who you are. And so they helped with my identity early on. And I'm so thankful for that because I could have been a junior, lost in my identity and not having anyone to talk to and not finding my community. So I think just starting that my freshman year, the minute I got there, has been such a blessing because I got to learn with my faith on how to lead and how to serve and how to be an example. So I would say my freshman, sophomore year, I still relied on the upperclassmen to do all the things, to lead Bible studies, to lead the church groups, like, hey, this is where we're going. And I was like, great. And for me, it was more, okay, how can I lead by example? I was never really super outspoken about my faith. I would just lead by example. And then my junior, senior year, I was like, okay, how can I get the underclassmen and how can I do what the upperclassmen did for me? And so my junior, senior year, getting to learn how to serve my underclassmen teammates, and just have, okay, like now they're looking to me, when are we going to church? I'm like, oh yeah, that's my job now. Like, so being able to learn different parts of my faith and different parts of my life, and again, just kind of being a leader in that role. So I think junior senior year was really great for me to dive deeper in my faith and how I can serve others and be a good teammate and all the things. So I think I'm just super thankful for my freshman year, how it's taught me all life, all to this now life, and then again now in being a pro and all USA things, and kind of how I can take what I learned from like freshman year to my junior and senior year, and how to lead in different ways and how to serve different types of people, and just like to cater to what their needs are compared to mine. So it's been really great. I've had Sarah Roberts, who was our chaplain for so many years at OU. We had the best Bible studies before games, and we just learned how to give it all to God and surrender, and kind of let Him take control and keep our eyes fixed on Him the entire time we were playing. And it just goes to show how when ESPN interviews, they were like, oh gosh, like, how did you guys win that game? We're like, we'll tell you. God, Jesus, like seriously, like that was the reason, because we felt like it wasn't had nothing to do with our physical play, but just how mentality, how we just kept our eyes fixed on Him, and nobody wanted to believe us. And no matter what, we were going to tell everyone the truth, social media the truth, that that was how he played. And we were so unapologetic and bold about it. And that's why I feel like I'm so passionate in my faith now, and how I'm never going to stop being unapologetic about it, just because what I've learned at OU. But it's just, it's funny to see everyone try to criticize, or just seeing all the social media things and see how unbothered we are about it, because we are so fixed on our faith. And it was super cool to see through the ups and downs and how we all grew in our faith. So it was great to see, find my community, find my people, and to see how unbothered we are and how unapologetic. And we were going to tell people the truth, and how we played.
I think it's so cool to think to realize what the Lord like will stick with you. And oh wait, it's my turn to invite people to church. Or oh, that was really cool how he met me in that moment. Or just through sports too. Like I remember there were certain seasons of my life when it was like very clear to me that the Lord was either like calling me to the next step, or he put someone in my life with a teammate who was encouraging me. Like it's so cool for those memories too to stick amidst like the wins and the championships and all those things, and the tough things I'd say on social media, when also those like little God moments will stick with you. So just wondering, because you mentioned just the transformational year that you had freshman and really sophomore year early, and the impact that those teammates had on you. Is there a standout memory that you have when you think back to like really being led as a believer by your teammates?
Um, I think I would say, honestly, I was never really a part of, you see all those videos about my teammates being outspoken, unapologetic, and I was never in those videos, but those videos inspired me more, and I was on their team. And just seeing that the way they talked about it, I feel like I was in a point in my life where I would agree to it. I would stand right behind them. I would support them. I would live by it. But I'm not sure at that time if I would be so outspoken as they were at during that time. And I feel like for me, that was the core memory, to seeing them sit right by them, look at them, and seeing that, sort of what they say. And I'm like, how did you have that so much like faith to just be able to say that? And they're like, I just did. I just did it. And then to see my senior year, me in an interview, me talk about my faith, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I didn't force it. It just came out of me. And so I think those moments inspired me, and I was on their team again. And just seeing the way my teammates talked, and we were very good believers. And if you're gonna talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And you can talk about it all you want, but are you gonna live it? Are you gonna be a good teammate? Are you gonna be all the things that you talk about? And to see my teammates take accountability when they're not always walking the walk, because we're not perfect. And so we're gonna have those moments of, we're not gonna be perfect, and we're not gonna always walk the walk. And to see them take accountability and responsibility in those times, and like, you know what? I'm going to be your sister in Christ, and say, hey, you're not walking the walk, but I got you. Let's work on it together. And I've had a lot of those moments at OU that really pushed me to be my best. And those are the moments that, no matter all the championships, no matter all the rings, like those moments will stand with me forever and for the rest of my life. And those are the things that I really take to heart. And so I would say those moments is what inspired me the most, and stood out to me.
It's so cool to hear how you were looking at your older teammates. It's like, how did that come from them? How did you think of that on the spot? How did you, talk so boldly about your faith and then you getting into that moment yourself and it just flowing from you? And I think that's an incredible thing to say, an incredible lesson because it really shows that what you put in your heart is what's going to come out of your mouth. And there was a song growing up that my dad like always made my sister and I listen to. It was like garbage in, garbage out. Like I could literally recite the whole thing, but nobody wants to hear me sing on this podcast. So I'm not going to do that. But it's really true. And I also think what you said is like, yes, we're all human. Like we're going to fall short. We're going to do things that we regret when we're in positions of leadership. But like overall and generally, like, there were so many times on whether I was on a team in high school or it was my college team when there were certain girls who just, like, led the way that, like, made me as a younger girl on the team feel so seen and so valued and, like, someone who I wanted to be like, and then when I got in that position of just being older on the team, it was like, "Okay, am I going to be the type of girl that the freshmen look up and say, 'I wanna be like her. She treats me right.'" Like, that's who I wanna follow one day, and I remember, like, actually thinking that, like, is this how I wanna lead? And I think it's just such a great example of, like, the younger girls are really looking to you. Like, you have the opportunity as a senior on your team or as a junior on your team specifically to reset some team traditions, to
Mhm.
reset some ways that you talk to young girls on the team and, like, really stand up and be a leader. So I love that you talked about that. I love that, you were questioning it and it just flowed right from you. I think that is so special, but a person that you mentioned was Sarah Roberts, your team chaplain. And I know Sarah Roberts has had multiple different like phrases and themes that your team has gone behind, probably different throughout your whole Oklahoma career. So when you think back to just her impact on the team, is there a specific phrase or something that your team got behind that still sticks with you today?
Every Sarah Roberts chaplain, she always will say, "But God." And when we're winning, but God. When we're losing, but God. So no matter what, no matter what time we were with our team, it was always but God. And knowing that He was always going to be there, and no matter how far we get away from Him, that we can always come back. And Sarah always made us feel heard and valued and seen, and she would check in on us, and it's been so cool because now Coach Gasso has implemented her with USA, and whoever wants to talk out of like the entire country of all the USA girls, we have access to her. And to see Sarah's love for the Lord and from what she taught us go around to people who weren't part of the OU program has been so awesome to see. Like, oh my gosh, I love Sarah Roberts. And I'm like, yeah, so Sarah Roberts was everything to us, but her phrase of but God just put things into perspective where again, softball, the world is going to keep spinning, and softball, again, is just what we do. And it's seriously just a yellow ball that we hit. That there's so many things going on in the world than just softball. So she always brings us back to who we are, and we're a child of God. And she always makes us not forget that. But she'll always just say, "But God," with her beautiful smile. And so I can picture her saying that right now. But that was her one phrase that always stuck out with me.
Last year, freshman on the Oklahoma softball team, Gabby Garcia came on the podcast and she said the exact same thing. It's just a yellow rubber ball. And I love that you said that because right when you were talking about like, but God and just like kind of the seriousness of the sport, that part of the interview that Gabby talked about, like literally came in my head. And the next thing you said was, it's just, yeah, I'm like, man, the synergy in this program stemming
We
from
are,
Sarah
we are,
Roberts is
yes.
awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That's incredible. I'd love to just ask you one more question about softball specifically, because I think there's so many young girls who might listen to this podcast or follow you on Instagram or watch you play in a game at the stadium and be like, okay, how is she bringing the Lord into her game day? Like, what does that actually look like? Let's be real. Like, we can talk about it, but like, what does it actually look like? So for you, when you are preparing for a game, or maybe you're in the midst of a game, what does that maybe like, but God attitude look like?
I think for me, one thing that is not always on social media is the work that you're putting in before the game. And for me, it's just journaling, quiet time, worship music. And I don't think, like, especially in my branding, I don't really post a lot about that just because that's my time to myself. And just having those quiet times for me and just praying and being with him, I think just makes my days go by so much faster, but just so much clear-minded, to where I'm on the field, and that's why when I try to, at least when I'm failing or I'm 0 for 10, not doing great, you'll always see a smile on my face because I know that my performance is doesn't affect the relationship that God and I have and that Jesus and I have. And so I know that I'm playing the game that He has given me the talents to do. So why not be joyful? Why not be smiling? Why not be a good teammate? Why not all those things? And for me, it's because I know my identity and I know my worth, and He's using me to play softball for Him. And I think that's the biggest thing is using His glory to spread the gospel and to spread the word, but to rally around teammates who don't have that. And so I think for me, the work that I put in before or after, and I just try to sit with him and remind him, like, hey, this game doesn't matter, but what you tell me and what you, how I react with my teammates and how I talk with my teammates, that's what matters the most. And spreading your word and being a child of God for you in my game, that's what matters the most. So I think, again, not through social media, that's something that I feel like for me personally, that's what I try to bring on game days and what I try to bring in softball in general is just the joy and the passion that He allows me to live when I'm playing.
I love that you talked about like not posting it too, because I think certain times like you can feel like, oh, I really want to share this. And that's awesome. And I
Hmm.
think you totally should, right? When you're reading something that's awesome or the Lord puts
Totally.
something on your heart. But I think it's also so important to just like do those things in private too. Like you
Totally.
don't, it doesn't need, if your motive is, oh, I want to put this on social media, like I've definitely experienced that before. Like, oh, I think it'd be really cute to post this. Like it's like, well, what's my heart posture about it? And so I love that you said that. And, there's that saying, it's like who you are when no one's watching is who you're going to be when everyone's watching. And like what you do in the quiet place and in the secret place is who you're going to be when you're at home plate and you got to make a play for your team. And like that's what's going to come out of you. And so I love that advice that you gave. But just the question that I ask every guest to wrap up is, do you wear headphones or no headphones before you play?
Gosh, I wear no headphones. At OU, we were blasting our Christian music on the bus, and we were all one. So I learned at OU too that we were never allowed to have our phones before the game. So we were always connected with each other. So now when I'm playing, I don't wear headphones. I like to interact. I like to chat. I like to laugh. I like to just make those memories with my teammates without headphones. But yeah, and even when I'm doing my quiet time and I'm worshiping, it's never with headphones. So.
It's carried over to all things, so that's awesome. Well, Terry, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so excited to cheer you on in AU and USA and Oklahoma too, you leading the team there. So and hopefully get to see you in a beautiful wedding dress at some point soon this year. But seriously, like thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us, and we're cheering you on.
Of course, thank you so much. God bless.